Okay, this is my DNA test results. You never heard of Parabon Ancestry? Check out my Parabon Ancestry report. I'm a proud African American, a Black American. Now, let's see the results. As you see, first of all, see snapshot prediction results, global ancestry. It says 84.60% African and 14.15% European. Of course, we got a little slice in our blood. Things happen, interruptions. But I'm a dark-skinned African American. I'm proud to be an African American at that. So now, figure 1B, as you see, 1B, it says, okay, as you see, I want y'all to look at the crosshairs. The crosshairs is me. The crosshairs is right here, right in the blue, as you see. That's crosshairs. It's surrounded by red, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown. Now let's see what is this. Okay, the red is African. It is showing what I got in me. As an African American, I fit in with the African American and Africa, which you see the red in there, and African. Okay, yellow. Let's see what yellow is. Latino. So Latino over here, and then let's see what brown is. Brown is Middle Eastern people. So I'm more close to African American, what I am, and Black American and Africans, as you see. So Parabon is pretty neat. Now it shows the regional ancestry. And that's the region. So the region that I have in me is 64.84% West African DNA, which is in the red right here. As you see, that's a lot. That's over half. My DNA is West African. Now, South Africa is 10.71% in the light or the darker pink. It's darker pink. You see at the bottom, South Africa, 10%. Right there, 0.71. Now, East African, 5.10% East African people. And look at it. It's light pink. So altogether, you got your 84 point something percent. And that's almost every DNA test. 84 is like the average. Some goes up to 94% African American. Some went to low as a 70 something, 78. So I know my average is like 85 to 90 something percent African. Most of them is 80 something or better. So with that being said, my crosshairs is me. And you see the dark green and the pink. And then you see on the side the light green. What is all this? What does that mean? Okay. The dark green is showing that I fit in with African American. And this is what I'm closely related to. The pink is African Caribbean, who I'm closely related to. Now, the green on the side, the light green, is West Africans. So I'm mostly closely related to West Africans. Now, as you see this funny looking green that say African South, it's up in there somewhere. It's right here, closely. But you see Europeans, all Europeans is far off. Look, far off people. Look all the way over here, all the way over here, all the way over here. So most of all these dots you see as African American, the dark green, got African Caribbean and West African connection. They're all bundled together, as you see. So it shows you who we're mostly closer to, what DNA I got most of. Now let's move on. I love this DNA test. Now I get more specific. It's doing the population to find what I got in me, what populations. Now, as West Africans, I already know Mali, because my Y DNA, which is on family tree DNA is E-Z15933. And that deals with specifically Mandanka Mende tribe. Mandanka Mende tribe, which is Mali, also the Bombarian. So that's my haplogroup, my paternal haplogroup. As you see, most of West African I got in me is Mende and Nigerian, Yoruba and Isan, because Yoruba and Isan kind of related anyway. So these two I got a lot in me. Every DNA test, some of them I got a lot of Yoruba, Yoruba in me, and Isan. And my living DNA proved this too. So now, you see the Dogon out of Mali. So I got a lot of Mali and Nigeria DNA in me, and Gambia. You know what I'm saying? Sierra Leone, Mende, and Liberia. So now, South Africa, mostly Bantu. South Africa means all the Bantu. There's South Africa, the 10%, yes, I got in me. Then the 5% Bantu of Kenya. So 15% Bantu. So my average of Bantu is mostly go from 15 to 30%, because on Ancestry 30%. So DNA test. So from 15 to 30% is so you got mostly West African, but you also got 1/3 of Bantu, 1/3 of Bantu, and more, half or more than half of West Africa in me, and a little percentage of Caucasian. But you see also in East Africa the Lula tribe. That's why I feel closely related to the Kenya people when I see them on the media. And you see the Massa tribe who jump high, and they closely related to the ancient Egyptians and Kushites and stuff like that. So now, mama DNA actually is East African DNA and North African DNA, which is her maternal haplogroup is L. All L is the African woman. So hers is L3H1B1A, which the origins is Kushites, Aroma tribe, the Amahar, but North Africa is the Teray people, or also some Fulani, but the Tebow people. So all of this deal with that. So you see the Massa, you know what I'm saying, the Latic people. Now, the 14% I got mostly in every DNA test, like 14% of European. I understand that, how the slave master raped my great grandmama and stuff like that. Yes, it goes back to the plantation. I got evidence of it going back to the plantation on my mama's side. So you see mostly German. Germans got the most. Out of all of this you see on the list is German on every DNA test. I knew that because they got the black hair and stuff like that. But Irish, British, Dutch, you got a little tiny piece of all of that mixture, like, so it's 14 something percent. Every test about 14, 15, that's it percent. So I'm mostly dominant 85, dominant African in my DNA. So that's why you see the African in me all around. The phenotypes, you could tell. You would think I'm straight from Africa when you see me. Now, moving on. My living DNA test results. People. My living DNA test results. People. As you see. You can see for yourself. Look at the map. You see you see East Africa, but you also see on here West Africa to Central Africa. Now let me explain this. Let's get deep. Now, let's get deep, people. Now, this is my results on living DNA tests. I like them. They give you the tribe. So now, as you see, 77.6% West Africa. The Yoruba, 20.5%. The Ivory Coast, Ghana, which probably the Akan in me, which also some of them from Mande, because they had the Ghana Empire, they had the Mali Empire, and they had the Sohan, if I'm saying it correctly, Empire. So Ghana 10.3%. Then you see the Bamoon people out of Cameroon, which is Bantu, 10%. Then you see the Mende again, which is part of my daddy father DNA, which is 9.2%. Then you got the Cameroon Bantu, which is 8.6%. And you got the Mandanka, which is part of my daddy DNA, the Mende and Mandanka, because Mende is part of Mandanka, got Mandanka DNA. You know what I'm saying? The Mende ancestor is Mandanka, so which is 7.5%, as you see. Then you got the Igbo out of Nigeria, the Isan out of Nigeria, and you got Akan out of Ghana. You see Ghana, you see Nigeria, you see Cameroon, and you see Mali. A lot of Mali, Senegal, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, and all that there. So mostly you see the West Africa, 77.6%. Now, East Africa, like on the other DNA test, the Parabon is 5%. Remember that? East Africa 5%. You see the Kenya Bantu, the Luha. That's why I'm so attracted to like Kenya people, because they remind me of me a lot. That's why I'm attracted. All these people on here on this DNA test from West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa. Now you know why I'm attracted to them. Now, I don't know about this group here, the Kawan Gali tribe out of South Central Africa, but it's 2%. So altogether it's 80-something%, 84-something% on this too. So now 84-85%. I leave 14% to European, and like 15 to 14% European, and 1% like indigenous America, to 0.8 indigenous America, like that. Now, this is another test, and this is called ADNTRO. This is my test results. ADNTRO. Now, this test, I like it. I love it because it's different. So it gave me the same haplogroup as 23andMe. 23andMe gave me the L3H1B1A haplogroup. And on here you see the same maternal haplogroup lineages, which comes from mother, the grandmother, the great-grandmother, keep going. It never changed. Now, my paternal haplogroup, it gave a different coding, but mean the same. So it's E1, B1A, 1A, 1C2. Now, on other testing, like family tree, is E-Z15933. Now, on 23andMe, is E-CTS9883. But the thing is, what's amazing about this is that it's the same haplogroup, part of the same haplogroup, just different coding. So in some tests, like you got the E1, B1A, 1A, 1C2, it's an extra 1A in there. So boom, which is the same. It's Bantu and Mende tribe. But specifically, family tree got more Pacific, because say E-Z15933, which is Mandanka and Mende tribe. So, bam, there you have it. So E-CTS9883 is this explained that it could be Bantu or Mende, mostly Mende, but it could be Fula, it could be Wolof, and all that there. But they got more Pacific. Family tree got more Pacific. And that one I just explained, like the E-CTS9883 came from 23andMe. Now family tree got more Pacific when it says E-Z15933. That's all. We get more Pacific. So now I know it's strictly Mandanka, Mandango, and Mende tribe from Sierra Leone and the Gambia area. Now let's move on, people. Now, as this DNA test explains more, give you more knowledge on it right here, it tell you what's about. You got the EV38 that I got highlighted in yellow, which is East, Central, and Southwest Africa, which I got a lot of Niger Congo in me. Most of them Niger Congo in me, people. A little bit of Kushite too, so you know. Now, L3 displaying Northeast Africa and other parts of Eastern Africa. So it's Northeast Africa, Libya, Egypt, Ethiopia, all that, the Horn of Africa, and some in the Arabia Peninsula got this DNA. So, but it's both my household group is African man, African woman, no European. Now, it explains, show you some people who might have some of these DNA, but they got the DE. But they show you that the E was first, the D broke off. So some is in the origins is East Africa, of course, the Horn of Africa, true Africa. Now, what I like about this test, the ADNTRO test, is that explain who you are at first. It shows you that North America is where I'm from. 89% African American in me, North American in me. Then they break it down. In North America, what they talking about? North America, some of the African American, 51%. Then they talking about African Caribbean, 37%. Look at the word African, they know it. So you're saying they're saying black and both, 89% of blackness. Now, then explain from Africa, the Mende, they've been Pacific, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Gambia. So they've been Pacific, 11% of that. Really, it's 10% to make 100% because you got 1% East African broad. And they're talking about Kenya, Bantu. So boom. So it showed that Kenya is related to Bantu, also West Africa. They all related. All of them really Niger Congo DNA. But it showed you, that's why I love my African American culture. All culture is good. Blacks are all over the world. Represent where you at. You don't got to travel to Africa. You got Africa. You bring Africa to wherever continent you at, or whatever country you at. Because, our ancestors, of course, deal with the slave trade. We know that. Now, then explain a little bit about the Indians and all that. Have my DNA, the cowboys, and all this here, and Native America. Now, what I love about this test, this is what I love too, people. It shows my name Corey Pinckney, as you see. And I ain't gonna hide that fact. Now, which is aka Kane Lit. Now, my DNA sample, as you see up front, the blue part is European. The orange part, you see majority of what? African. Look, people, majority African. The other parts is whatever. Now, who I'm closely matched to, African Southwest, which means African American and Southwest of America. And it's 99% match. And the Caribbean, African Caribbean, 99% match. Now, the Luha, which is still a high percentage match, is 98% match. That's Kenya. Now look at this. Gambia Madanka, 97%, which is still high. All 90% is high. We know that. So that's a close match. So close, almost 100%. So now, Mende, 97% too. Isan, 97% too. The Yoruba, 90% too. So that's close, people. Almost 100%. It's a little tiny bit off match. We're close. Now, Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans has the most match outside of African DNA that them closely matched to, which is 41%. That's under half. So that's kind of low. Now the Vietnam 36%, that's pretty low. The Colombia 31%. The Iberian, probably the white folks, 26%. That's all. Northwestern European, you see how low that is? That's very low. They about almost to the bottom. Now, but they ain't the bottom, people. They're not the bottom. They're not the bottom. Now, look at this. Look at this match. Anything under 50% is low, people. 50% is half. They ain't even got half. Puerto Rico ain't even half, but they close. So, then you talking about the Europeans started 24%. Me and the Chinese really ain't got no match. Because it's 60%. So that's very low. Now, what I also like about this test, it got comparison bar. It says the ancestry shape. Now look, people. Now the blue, as you see on the African side, look at the African side right here, and look at me. This is me. Very similar to Africans. This how much similar. Very similar. Look at the bottom. Very similar. Now, as you see, a little bit of America. There's only two that stick out on the very similar realm is Africans and America. But America a little. I'm more close to Africans. So now, let's move on. Now they said, now we get more Pacific. African Caribbeans like up top. You see, 95.6%. Look how similar we is. I'm in blue. As you see the red covering my blue. Look how close they is. You see how similar our DNA is? People, they are me. We are. I am them. Very similar. Now, as you see, we're very similar. Oh, I got to say the other side is very different. Very different. It's the other side. Very different. Now, look at the African ancestry Southwest. They're talking America. 95.9%. As you see, I am in blue. See me in blue? And look at the red is the African Southwest. They're very similar. We still very similar. That's the only one you see on this side of the road. And America, we're very similar. Now, the East side. See, me scrape blue by itself. America. Now the East side. You see me in blue right there? East side cover me. We're very close, people. Very similar. You see it? Let's do the Madenka. Very similar, people. You see the blue? The blue is me. It's on the very similar side. This is a very difficult side right here. Madenka. The Luha. Very similar. Look how close we are. We very close. I think Luha got the most far as the African DNA. So me and Kenyans, these Africans are very close. Luha, Bantu. Very similar. Look at the blue. That's blue is me inside this red. They ain't got no America in them, so that's probably the only thing they miss. Now, the Mende, 90.9%. As you see, people, we very similar, very similar. The Yoruba, the Ruba, same thing. Puerto Rican, that's Puerto Rican is you see they on the Europe and America side. As you look, see this American Europe side, they get more Europe and American than me. I'm the small blue that's inside there. Now I got more African than them in my DNA. Now the British, as you see, they ain't got no African in them. I got all. You see me right there, and that's them. Got a small American. They got a small portion. Now, the Chinese, they got just a little slight African and a little slight. Cause you see where I got the circle at, a slight African. The African side right here is all the way across. You see me. Now, very similar. You see my name right here to show the blue part. Now, the same thing with these Chinese. They got a little slight African across, a little bit slight African line, as you see right there on the African side. Just a little slight. The same thing with these Chinese people, the hand. And these people here, same thing. I'm always on the African side. See my African side, I always feel. Colombia, only thing we got in common mostly like American. I got mine's the blue with you see the little dot in the center. That's me. They got more. They almost to the edge of theirs, almost full up. Mine full up on the African side. Just a little bit almost full African. Finnish. Mine's on the African. As you see, there's on the European. I got a little slight American. So we really don't have nothing in common. I'm always on the African side. The blue is me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm keep scrolling through now, you know. We got nothing in common. Now, this is what I like about that DNA. I love that. I love that DNA test. I love that DNA test. Let me go ahead and mash. I'm gonna scroll through right quick. You see what I'm saying? And this is America. Now America itself is 40.6% American I got in me. I still got more African in me than that. As you see. You see it, people. Asian. Oh, I got look at 40.1% Asian, almost half. On this right here. They crossed a little bit of the African border right there, you see. Now, moving right here. Neanderthal. How much Neanderthal got in me? It said your Neanderthal is less than 1%. People, less than 1%. That's a little small, tiny bit. And on 23andMe, I got a little small, tiny bit. That's it. So it don't dominate. My African DNA dominant. It said Neanderthal contribute between 1% and 4%. I got less than 1%. It said for sub-Saharan Africans, between 1 and 4%. I got less than that. So I'm a lot of African than me. You know, they say 84, 85. And this DNA very important. Now, down to Sobin, I say less than what? 0.1%? Man, come on, people. Got a little bit of that in my day. Man, show you what I am. I'm proud African American with proud majority dominant African DNA. And that's why I got a lot of mostly African phenotype. I got no European phenotype, no other race phenotype other than African. I'm dark skinned, chocolate, African American. Matter of fact, brown, dark brown, brown to dark brown. Seems like I changed form. But my lips, my eyes, that's me, people. I'm proud African American. That's all I got to say. People, I'm glad African American influenced the world. Our brothers in Africa, all love to them. Our brothers in the Caribbean, all love to them. And to the African diaspora worldwide, all honor to you. Ashe. Of course, we have a lot of people in America. They got a little mixture due to slave master loving our black grandmothers and stuff like that. But as you see, I got an African father haplogroup group. My daddy is jet black. People, my daddy black. My mother, she's brown skinned. So with that being said, I'm out of here, people. I'm out of here. Ashe.